Hello all you moms and friends out there, Healthy Mom here. I get to be my own film crew again today, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in for a minute and listening to what I have to say today. What I'm going to tell you today is my story, and the reason I'm telling my story is that I hope that in some little way it might help you or inspire you to action and maybe to take some steps that you have been wanting to take and have been too afraid to try. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted children, and I was so excited when the day finally came when I had my first child. And I was lucky enough to be blessed with 6 children. The 6th child is one that we adopted from Russia. We got him when he was 27 months old, and that's something I've always wanted to do. I'll tell you, I always wanted to be a mom, I always wanted to have twins, and I always wanted to adopt internationally. For some reason, those were desires that were just in my heart for just about as long as I can remember. And guess what? My 4th pregnancy, it was twins, boy-girl twins, and I thought my dream has come true. I was so excited. And then I knew that my next dream had to come true too, and that was adoption. And that took a little effort and some time and some patience and a lot of faith, and it also took a lot of money. And when we started, we probably really had no idea how much money it would cost. And so here we are, and we had this wonderful little boy who we know was supposed to be part of our family, and yet we also had this big debt. And I thought, wow, how can I make that better? How can I help? And at first, I would think of all these great ideas that my husband could do. He could get a second job, and he could da-da-da-da. And I just had these great ideas for him. And then I realized, you know what? He's doing his part. He's already doing what he can do. And maybe there's a little more that I can do. And I'd never really thought this way before. I'd been the mom, the stay-at-home mom, and very happy to be so. And I was doing a great job. But now we're at this point, the other children were starting to get a little older. We had this little boy, and I needed to think, what can I do? And I needed to be creative because I still wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. I didn't want a 9-to-5 job. I didn't want to be in an office. I just wanted to know, what can I do from home? And this took a real shift for me. This took a real mindset change. And I really had to be creative, and I had to start thinking outside of the box. And one thing that really inspired me was some of the writings and some of the talks by Robert Kiyosaki. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with his Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. But in listening to that, I started to get some new ideas. Hey, there are ways out there to start thinking in different quadrants, to start thinking in different arenas. And that is what I wanted to do. And it's so interesting because one thing has led to another. And each thing, even though maybe at the time I thought, this is it, this is the end, this is going to be what I need, it really was just the next step that I needed. It was a baby step, and it was taking me in the right direction, and it was connecting me to this and then to that. And then looking back, of course, I can see the miracles. And I'm still on that path. But what I wanted to inspire with you is that if you've had some ideas, if you've been feeling some need, if you've been feeling like, hey, there is just a little more to being a mom than just doing the dishes and the laundry every day. And this is another thing that I've discovered, is that in starting to do these things and take these steps and maybe taking on new projects, I am starting to live my dreams. Not just my dream of being a mom, but some of my other dreams as well that have been out there, and they've just been on hold for a little while. And I thought, you know, how can I tell my children, be the best you can be, reach for the stars, if I'm not willing to do that myself? They follow my example. If they think, hey, being a mom is just all this housework and it's just hanging around and helping me with homework and driving me to a few places, they're not going to be all that inspired by that. Yes, they're grateful for it. Yes, it has to happen. Yes, it keeps the wheels turning and the machine running, but it's not all there is. It's not the end. I need to also be an inspiration to them, along with their father, of living our dreams and setting goals and achieving them and taking baby steps, even when they're scary. And so that's been part of my purpose as well, is that this is going to help and inspire my children. And it's been so interesting, the things that we've been able to do, because before this, I maybe wasn't willing to take on too much. I was feeling overwhelmed, and I wouldn't sign them up for extra classes or sports groups or things like this. And now I've got one daughter playing competitive soccer year-round, and another boy has been in 3 plays, and he's on his way to his 4th. And yes, these are time commitments, and they take some extra oomph from home, but they're also living their dreams and their talents, and I'm allowing them to do these things, and it's just been so fun to see the process. Another thing was one daughter really wanted a dog, and she'd wanted one for so long, and to me it just looked like one more responsibility, and I kept saying no, not now, I'm not ready. And then I realized, hey, what am I saying? I was listening to my words, and I thought, I need to be saying, let's not say no. Let's say, here are the problems. How can we solve them so we can make it happen? And so we started working on a plan, and over a period of time, we were able to get a dog because we were able to resolve the problems and overcome the obstacles, and we did it as a family. And this one particular daughter, had the opportunity of seeing one of her dreams come true. And that has meant the world to me. And that goes back, again, to one of the things Robert Kiyosaki would say. His poor dad would always say, we can't afford that, we can't do that. And I heard myself saying those words so many times. His rich dad taught him to say, how can we do it? How can we plan for that? And how can we make it happen? And yes, it wouldn't happen overnight, but if you had a plan, just turning it from we can't, door shut, to how can we do it? Suddenly the door is open. And that's what I'm hoping to do for you today. Open a door. If you would like to engage in more conversations such as this, and maybe have some opportunities to brainstorm and banter around, how can I do it? How can I live my dreams? How can I make these things happen? Then let's do it. That's what I'm here for. That's one of the things I'm trying to set out and embark on, is helping others along the path that I've been following. And I'd just like to thank you again for listening, and I hope to talk again soon. And now, if you'll excuse me, I need to turn off my camera. This is Healthy Mom. We'll see you next time.